It's no wonder why some people just don't do well with Lenire. Hey guys, Cliff Olson, Doctor of Audiology and founder of Applied Hearing Solutions in Phoenix, Arizona. And in this video, we finally got our answer to why the Lenire tinnitus treatment device does not work for everyone. So nearly 3 years ago, I published a video talking about a new tinnitus treatment device that had just received FDA approval in the United States called Lenire. Lenire is a technology developed by a company called Neuromod that uses bimodal neuromodulation to reduce the negative effects of tinnitus. Essentially, bimodal neuromodulation is a method of rewiring the brain using two different sensory inputs at the same time. In the case of Lenire, they use acoustic stimulation through headphones that are programmed specifically for the user's hearing levels and somatosensory stimulation through their tongue tip stimulator. Based on the research data in their TENS-A1, TENS-A2, and TENS-A3 clinical trials, this appeared to be one of the most effective tinnitus treatments that we had ever seen, and unlike other tinnitus treatments, actually had data to support it. Finally, individuals with tinnitus had a silver bullet that they could use to get rid of tinnitus once and for all. Well, many individuals with this debilitating condition did actually experience relief. It allowed them to get their life back. They could go back to work, they could visit with family and friends without tinnitus consuming their entire existence. Of course, as it turns out, Lenire did not work for everybody. And saying that many of these individuals took to the internet to voice their discontent would be an understatement, being much more vocal about their lack of treatment success than individuals who did experience a significant amount of relief. But how is it that some individuals received a ton of benefit from Lenire and other individuals received no benefit? And is there a way to predict whether or not you would receive benefit from Lenire before you invest a bunch of time and money on something that potentially does not work for you? Well, that is exactly what I'm talking about in this video, but before I do me a huge favor, click the like button. It really helps out the channel. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel with notifications turned on, go ahead and do that as well. It's greatly appreciated. And a huge shout out to Modern Tinnitus for sponsoring today's video. Over the past 2 years, myself and tinnitus expert Dr. Craig Casper decided that there must be a better way to support individuals with tinnitus and the clinicians who treat them. Knowing that it's incredibly difficult to track treatment outcomes only using questionnaires and subjective feedback, we decided to launch Modern Tinnitus with our Modern Tinnitus Basecamp to give you an objective understanding of how you're responding to your tinnitus treatment. Basecamp is our proprietary biometric platform that allows us to monitor different biomarkers, including heart rate variability, sleep quantity and quality, and movement and exercise, and allow them to eliminate the treatments that are not working and double down on the treatments that are. Not only does this prevent you from wasting time and money, but it actually gives you better results faster. Basecamp also works with a variety of different wearable devices that you may already own, including from companies like Apple, Garmin, Polar, Aura, Whoop, Withings, and even Fitbit. When you can see how you're objectively responding physiologically to your tinnitus treatments, including possibly Lenire, it can be a total game changer. Now, if you would like to find a clinic in your area that uses our Modern Tinnitus Basecamp, just go to moderntinnitus.co, click on the Find a Provider tab, and submit your information to reveal your closest Modern Tinnitus Specialty Center. Alright, so considering the fact that Lenire clearly works for some people and doesn't work for others, how do you identify if it would actually work for you? Well, a recently published article in the American Journal of Audiology titled Bimodal Neuromodulation for Tinnitus in a Clinical Practice Setting may just have given us our answer. This study was a chart review of 140 individuals who were treated with the Lenire tinnitus treatment device between May 1st, 2023 and January 19th, 2024. All of these individuals were treated by experienced tinnitus clinicians at New York Hearing Doctors in Manhattan, New York. The average age of participants was 57 years old, but the range of ages were all the way from 18 years old up to 86 years old. Most of these participants had tinnitus for at least 1 year, but over a third of the participants had tinnitus for over 5 years. They were all prescribed treatment for up to 12 weeks with a use time of up to 60 minutes per day using the Lenire device, and in addition to using the Lenire device, they all received counseling and education on their tinnitus. To measure improvement in tinnitus, they used the Tinnitus Handicap Inventory, which is a standardized questionnaire that can identify how tinnitus is affecting someone's quality of life. It's 25 total questions with scores that range between 0, which indicates slight or no handicap, and up to 100, which is a catastrophic tinnitus handicap. A clinically meaningful improvement, which means that the change in score is large enough to actually notice a difference in daily life, would be at least a 7-point reduction, which would be the minimum clinically significant difference, or an 11-point reduction, which would be an even stricter criterion. So you're probably wondering, What did the researchers find? Well, taking all of these participant results into account, approximately 70% of the participants saw a clinically significant improvement in their tinnitus handicap, which was a THI score improvement of at least 7 points. Honestly, a treatment success rate of 70% is really good, especially when you consider how difficult it is to treat tinnitus. However, this still does not help us understand why nearly 30% of these participants did not see a significant improvement in their tinnitus handicap. But this is where the researchers earned their paycheck, because they were able to identify what the key variable was between success using Lenire and lack of success using Lenire. Any idea what it was? Well, if a participant had a moderate or higher THI score of 38, they were significantly more likely to receive benefit using Lenire, with over 80% of these individuals seeing a significant improvement. And they were able to achieve an average THI improvement of 23.8 points. This is unbelievably massive when you consider that a significant improvement in THI score is only 7. In fact, the amount of participants in the catastrophic tinnitus category went from 21.2% down to only 4.6%. The amount of participants in the severe category went from 34.8% down to 19.7%, and over 50% of the participants with moderate or worse THI scores shifted into the mild or slight categories of tinnitus handicap. However, participants who started their Lenire treatment with an initial THI score of less than 38, meaning that they were only in the slight to mild category of tinnitus handicap, these individuals saw an improvement of negative 0.5 points. That's right. Negative 0.5 points. Only 34.8% of participants with a slight or mild tinnitus handicap at the beginning of the study saw a significant improvement of at least a 7-point reduction in their THI. But the average change in THI score of all of the participants in this particular category was virtually 0. Essentially, Lenire produced large, meaningful improvements for participants who had at least a moderate THI score or higher, but provided little to no benefit for participants who had a moderate THI score or lower. So what do the results of this study mean for you if you have tinnitus? Well, I can think of a couple things. First, it means that your age, your gender, your hearing loss, the duration of time that you've had tinnitus are not very good predictors as to whether or not you'd receive benefit using Lenire. And second, the only variable that researchers were able to identify as being a good predictor of your success using Lenire was having a higher THI score. Essentially, the bigger the negative impact that tinnitus is having on your life, the more improvement that you stand to get using Lenire, as long as it's administered by a tinnitus expert who is providing you with counseling and education. This means that if your THI score is 38 or above, you have a higher likelihood of seeing significant improvement in your tinnitus. But if your THI score is below 38, it doesn't mean that you wouldn't receive any benefit using Lenire. It just means that the amount of benefit you would receive would likely be significantly less. Could you still use Lenire if you have a THI score below 38? Of course you could, but that would be up to the decision of yourself and your doctor. Of course, if you determine that Lenire is not right for you, don't worry, because there are a variety of other effective tinnitus treatments that are out there, as long as you find a tinnitus specialist who knows what they're doing. But I want to hear from you. Did you already try Lenire? Did it work? Did it not work? And what was your THI score when you started the treatment? Let me know down in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video.